Hello, I'm Laura Soido, and I'm presenting on my literature review about human resource analytics. A lot of my work focuses on how people and information systems interact, so I was curious to find out how that might play out in managing human resources, especially as technology and systems for monitoring people become more pervasive. I took on a literature review focused on the question of how might human resource analytics support strategic human resource management in the public sector. To answer that, I dove deeper into the questions of what is human resource analytics, how does it work, and what are the potential benefits and challenges of using it. So let's dive in. What is it? Human resource analytics is known by a variety of different names. People analytics was the term made popular by Google's use of these techniques. It's also known by a variety of other names, such as talent analytics, workforce analytics, human capital analytics, as well as evidence-based or data-driven human resource management. Marler and Bondurot combined 8 definitions from the literature to summarize some of the key features of human resource analytics. It is technology-based. It considers big data, that is, data sets that are large, complex, and from varied sources. It helps to find relationships between people, HR strategies, and organizational outcomes. In these findings, they should help to support decision-making and help an organization to demonstrate its impacts. More specific to the public sector, a report by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development defined data-driven human resource management as a strategic process aiming for better HR decisions and policies throughout the government by collecting, measuring, and using HR data. Building on those definitions, how does it work? Ideally, it should help to link human resources to the organization's strategy, and in that way, it's part of an organization's strategic process. There's several different models for how this process should work, but one example by McIver and colleagues starts with identifying and prioritizing questions. Based on those questions, the analytics team comes up with approaches for developing evidence. These could be experiments with a hypothesis. To answer those questions, they collect data. They often have to clean and organize that data and then analyze it. The findings from their analysis are then used to inform organizational decisions, and those decisions help to support organizational change, and in turn help to identify new questions and prioritize new areas for improvement. A couple of specific examples of how human resource analytics can be used. One is to improve diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. To do this, the analytics can help consider whether the goals were met, what policies and processes contributed to those outcomes, and then help to inform how additional improvements could be made. Human resource analytics can also be used to preempt turnover. And doing that by considering, what internal and external forces might influence an employee to leave, when these events are likely to happen, and what interventions, raises, training, promotions, might help to reduce an employee from leaving. Human resource analytics also has different stages of maturity based on the HRStat maturity model from the United States Office of Personnel Management. At the most basic level, human resource analytics help an organization to carry out HR functions and maintain compliance. So they're very HR focused. But as their impact maturity increases, they move to helping identify organizational needs, then connecting HR activities to improved organizational outcomes, and finally, at the highest stage, making connections to the mission and societal impact. As advantages, human resource analytics help to centralize disparate data, allowing organizations to bring together information from many different internal and external sources. They also help with timeliness of feedback. So rather than implementing a strategy, letting it take effect, doing a survey, writing a report, sending that report to management to make new decisions on whether it's working, Human resource analytics can be used to provide real-time and continuous feedback to program implementation. They can also be used, and they're also considered more objective. That is, they limit self-reporting and observational biases by pulling information from records and producing numbers, though they are subject to algorithmic biases. Human resource analytics are also considered more scalable in that technology assists in data collection and can basically create more insights at a lower cost and with less time than it would take using traditional research methods. That said, there are a great number of challenges to implementing human resource analytics. It takes investment in technologies and systems to have the data and tools necessary to do this type of analysis. It also takes new skills, knowledge, and abilities, both on the part of analysts, also in terms of managers and leadership who may not be used to making data-driven decisions. They may have to think about how to ask questions, what data they need, and how analytics can help to provide value. This relates to a need for organizational culture that is willing to use data and interested in learning and development. The external environment may also play a role in promoting or preventing adoption. And there are different legal and ethical considerations, particularly in collecting data about employees and how to maintain individual privacy and avoid using models that might promote discrimination. That's it. In conclusion, I came to recognize that human resource analytics is not new. For a long time, managers have sought to collect data to help improve efficiency, performance, and organizational outcomes. What is new is the amount of data and the sophistication of analysis that is available. While many organizations have shown increased interest in human resource analytics in the last few decades, departments that focus on this type of work remain relatively scarce in both the public and private sectors. And the literature focused much more heavily on private rather than public sector implementation. The slowness to adoption may relate to readiness challenges. Do the benefits outweigh the costs, particularly around technology, knowledge, skills, and abilities, organizational support for these activities, and making considerations for the legal and ethical requirements. However, there appear to be advantages to using human resource analytics techniques, particularly in providing objective real-time feedback. And there's potential for these technologies to benefit organizations and employees by leading to greater engagement, better work-life balance, and more satisfaction. Thank you for your interest. These are the references that I used in this presentation. My slide deck came from Slide Carnival and included illustrations from Pixelels. Thanks.